Hey, comic book fans, Confire Nate here, and we're here to talk about Star Wars 17. Now, just to give you a real quick recap of 16, we saw that Leia and Santa took Dr. Aphra to a prison, a rebel prison that was literally like hidden, and this facility was so hard to get to that it's around the sun, so it makes it real difficult to possibly escape and or even break in. But we find out that that's not the case. Because it ends with a group of looks like mercenaries, possibly bounty hunters, breaking into the facility, and that's where we leave off. So at the beginning of this, it was really interesting. It looked like they had already broken in. Leia and Sana is going around and they're taking out some of these like robots, and they feel like they've won. They feel like, oh, we must be doing it. But it turns out that this actually was a very clever ploy to for the actual mercenaries to get to the main area where the warden is and kind of take over the prison. Um, and it's kind of interesting because immediately you start thinking, what in the world? These guys are here to get the doctor, and that's what you assume. That's what we assume. That's what probably everyone assumed. But it turns out that it looks like maybe there's a little bit more to it. As he's talking with Leia, he basically says, "Hey, listen, you basically, created me." And I thought that was kind of interesting the way he said that, because it kind of comes across like maybe there's something else there. Maybe he knows her from a previous situation, but he basically said, I've seen evil and see what needs to be required. So he sends his robots to start killing, to killing some of these prisoners. And then he basically puts Leia in a situation where he opens up the cells, and now Leia's stuck there with Sana, and there's all these guys out. So that's kind of where it cuts, and then it kind of goes back to where we see what's going on with Luke and Han, which I think is just a nice little way to kind of break up this particular comic. So now we go and we see, as we knew from last week, or last month, Han basically gambled away all the rebels' money that they were supposed to buy for supplies. So now they got to come up with more money. So it's interesting this way this scene takes place, because you see Luke with kind of like looking like Obi-Wan with his little hood on, and he's in a bar and the guy comes up to him and he's wanting to say, "Hey, I'm looking for a fast ship." So you get kind of this kind of homage to the original trilogy where they, go talk to Han, and it's like, "You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon? It can run the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. What's a Kessel Run? So there's these, it's kind of fun, and, a little fun moment there. But then, of course, he comes back and he tells Han, and that's kind of how it ends. Like, then it cuts right back to what's going on with Leia and them. And Leia, first off, Leia can take these guys down. Like, it's funny because one of the persons that she's fighting, she later says that he was like an Imperial, like a Black Ops Imperial guy, right? Basically, and she takes him out. I mean, she knocks this guy out, and it's kind of funny. It looks like they have gathered a bunch of them. They put him in a room. Immediately, the door shut. Again, controlled by this unknown mercenary, and he opens up the shields and lets him get burned alive. So he's really messing with Leia. And you can kind of see this kind of like a psychological battle going on between him trying to push Leia to actually killing someone or going, that extra mile, whereas he's already completely into that position. He claims, "I'm a murderer. This is what you have to become if you want to beat the Empire." So then we cut to where we see, our doctor is now stuck inside her cell. Some robots come in, start shooting at her. She's smart enough to get out of the way and hide. But luckily enough, the group comes in and they were able to save her. Now, we also have another interesting scene where we go back to see what it was exactly that Luke and Han are transporting. What are they transporting? They're transporting Nerfs. And you're like, what is that? Isn't that a gun for kids? No, a Nerf. If you remember in the original, when she calls Han a Nerf herder, a Nerf is kind of like a space cow, okay? Like, it's an alien cow. It's from other planets. It's not, I mean, obviously it's not in space, but I like the term space cow. That sounds funny. But basically it's a cow. So their Millennium Falcon is full with all these Nerfs. And it's funny because apparently the Imperials come in and they're like, "We're looking for people who are carrying, illegal livestock." And I'm like, man, do they have like livestock patrols? I mean, I just thought that was kind of silly. They're coming in to say, "Hey, what do you got on your ship?" But obviously, the Millennium Falcon, they're trying to drive this thing. They got cows in their face, and you know, just kind of that humor to kind of break up what's going on the prison. But then when we go back to the prison, it looks like, you know, basically Princess Leia and Santa are gonna have to trust Dr. Aphra, and she's gonna have to help him. You know, so they basically give her a gun, and that's where it ends with this cool, like, you know, Charlie's Angels kind of scene where you got Leia and you got, you know, Sana and you got Dr. Aphra, and it's just like, that looks kind of cool. So hopefully, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm really interested to see what's going on with this mercenary, whoever this guy is. He definitely, I think he knows Leia, and he's kind of messing with her a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see the reveal on that. But hey, if you like this, leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought. If I missed something, tell me about that too. Until next time, see ya.